Hi, my name's Emily. There we go. I wear a lot of hats. There they are. I'm an author, an illustrator, a mom. I'm the co-founder and executive director of Read and Write Kalamazoo. We're a literacy nonprofit that does creative writing workshops with youth pre-K through high school. I wanted to start, though, by defining creative vision. It's where I live as a creative and what we bring to the table with the youth that we serve. So creative vision starts with what you observe, what you see. Anybody who's creative, a dreamer, a doer, a maker, it starts here with what you see. And we ask this with our students all the time. Don't just tell me that they walked in the room. How did they walk into the room? How did they pick up the cup of coffee? And then it goes to what's not there. So if you're creative, you're really thinking also about those blank spaces, right? You're thinking about what's missing, where are the gaps? And then that leads to the possibility of what really could be there. And so then when those two things, I love a Venn diagram, are fusing together, that's the world of the creative space. And I'm sure all of you are familiar with what that is. And in that creative space, that's where action lives. That's where empathy building lives. That's where we make and we do and we create change and we find ourselves. So we're going to take a time machine back to December 2011. My friend Ann and I were talking about being writers and wanting to write with youth. And we were just talking. I was a teacher for a handful of years and was an editor and had experience in publication. So we were sitting kind of near that purple space, and we heard this quote: if there's a book that you want to read but has yet to be written, you must be the one to write it. So it's kind of this empowering, sentiment that really shoved us back into that purple zone, that cross-section of what we're observing, what we're feeling, and filling these gaps. So I'm going to go back to this because that's really what it was all about, like wanting to be active and to make change and live in this purple cross-section. And really it's the marriage of living outside of ourselves and processing the information that shapes our lives. So that is a little baby pencil. So Read and Write Kalamazoo was born. So yes, there we are. We started small with 2 summer writing workshops, and now we're in a home of our own. We have a writing center. We have a really fun storefront that helps support the free programs. And we exist to celebrate and amplify youth voices. So this passion about creative vision, really we're sharing with the youth that we serve. Our mission is to support the growth and the learning of youth through the cultivation of reading and writing skills. And we work with youth all the time, and we're like, why do we write? And that's a good question. We want to flip the script and not make it something that is an assignment, but something that we are moved to do because we see the world, we've got questions, and we're ready to fill those gaps and be active in being creative and amplifying voices. So these are the kind of things that we do. We publish student work. We give them a platform to be heard in the community. We have readers' rooms. We work with schools. We have summer camps. We make magazines and zines. And we have zines like How to Take Care of Your Pet Rock. And so there's many ways that we encourage them to express that voice. And so really the puzzle piece, that creative vision turned into creative voice, is a solitary thing sometimes, right? You're internalizing this and you're learning how to grow, and not only with what I do and with what I do with youth, I think it's all of us. And so it's just a piece of the puzzle. And so learning how that looks in the community with your voice and your art and your passion, it's about, and that's what we do with our youth. We're like, how can we, what we do relies on an invested community, right? We're invested, the success of every student. So really I want to share a specific story. We give a lot of writing prompts with our youth. One in particular was pretty amazing. If you could invent anything to help in your life, what would it be? It's a great question. We ask kids of all ages. We work with preschoolers. They have really fun things that they'd invent. High schoolers are going to invent some other stuff. Third graders, you get a lot of homework bots. You get a lot of like food-o-matics, like Star Trek-esque machines that are going to give you donuts whenever you want. And you get like magic closets and whatnot. So it's really fun and inspiring, and we're talking about what we see and what we need. And we had one student who created an encouragement robot. Really great. We're like, oh, an encouragement robot, that's great. And really, it was about marrying those two things, what he saw in his life, what he observed, and then what was missing, right? So he's writing this story about this encouragement robot, and we're like, tell us more. So this encouragement robot would follow him around and say encouraging things because he didn't feel like he had that in his life. So we gave him this platform, right, to give a voice to what he saw in his life, and then to think about how to fill that gap. And he's like, everyone needs this, right? Like, we all need to hear great things. We need to hear this encouragement. And so he's like, I actually should make this for everybody. And we're like, yeah, do it. And that's what it's all about. That's what being creative, using your voice and being heard. He was heard. He was seen. He shared his story, built relationships with the volunteers and our staff. And so really, I want you to know about what we do at Rock. And we have this great storefront now called the Geological and Musicological Survey Company. And it's a mouthful on purpose. We incite curiosity from the door front. You walk in, it's exciting, lots of questions all the time. And it's really a portal to what we do in the way that we serve students in our writing center. So my hope for all of you is that we live in the purple zone, right? That creative space, and that you're always observing and seeing what's there, and you're trying to fill the gaps.